when it comes to trading outside of your psychology and emotions. And that's just support and resistance and getting levels. So right here, I'm about to drop this line. Before I drop it, I'm gonna tell you why here. So essentially, you're looking for multiple candles to hit the same line. And so you see one, two, three, four. All four of those, all five of these are close to the same line. And so right now I'm on the 4 hour time frame and there's really nothing else close to it. That's why I chose this because there's not a whole lot of candles to get worked up about. And then the prices are very close together. So right here and right here are within 20, 30 cents of the same price. So I'm not going to trip too much because even after this line was broken, it fell back underneath it and had to hit it 3 times in a row to break above again. So, like a good rule of thumb is to look for a price that has been tapped at least 3 times by multiple candles or been tapped at least 3 times. And so, one, two, three, right here, it broke above it and fell below. It broke above it and fell below. Right here, it was right underneath it. Right here, it tried to stretch above it, and so we know that this line has been touched multiple times before breaking above. And it still has yet to become a solid support line until here. But it hasn't been touched and set on. It's only been touched and fallen back under. So I'm going to draw a line here and know that this 715, though it's here, there's a good chance that we're going to come back down to at least this level, and it not completely out of question to come back here because one, two, 3 times this was the line that needed to hold or break. And this is four, five, about 5 times this line was hit. And that's just in the last, what, 10 days. So if we shrink the chart, if this wasn't such a stupid run, we would have more points beyond. So, like with these lines here, some of these lines were drawn before all of this happened because I'm looking back here and I drew the lines in December, January, and they still hold true now because I was correct, right? So, right here, you see almost broke, broken, tap, 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 came across, set on, set on, set on, set on, set on. So, this line right here over the course of multiple weeks was valid then. And then if we come forward, boom, it hit that same line again, one, two, three, four, 5 times before deciding it wanted to continue. So the reason your support and resistance is so important is because if you have lines from the past, it'll show you what is possible again. So say you have a stock like this right now, it hit this stupid run like this. I know that if it starts to fall to here, that this is possible. And that if it falls to here, that this is possible. Like I know what gaps are more likely to happen and what dollar moves are more likely to happen because I can see the jumps that it made. Like from here to here, if it ever falls below this line again, let me give you a circle. So, ooh, so we have this big green circle right here. Or so we have this big green candle inside this circle, right? You got this candle here. And so again, this was a line that I drew. This is April that we're looking at this happening. I haven't been drawing lines on this since like January or February. So let's just go back. So this is December, right? 680. Oh, boom, touched it. touched it 3 times, touched it. That's like 5, 6 touches in December. February, it hit it, hit it, hit it, couldn't break it. It finally broke it. It set above it, came back down, boom, boom, set on it, boom, boom, boom. It went above, and then when it did break, it broke all the way back down to below it before coming back up and falling more, right? And so again, these lines down here at the bottom were drawn in January and February as well, because as the stock was coming up, I put all these lower lines here. And then now we're all the way in April, boom. That 680 line is still relevant because it just recently broke past it. So seeing this go from 660 to 675, the people who stayed in this trade probably knew that in December, in November, it had already hit 680. So they could bet that even though it fell below, so here's a 680 line, even though it fell below here and then went all the way down here, they knew when it did start rising back up, it was possible to get to 680. But now that you have that big old gap right there, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't come back down to 675 or 680 just to show more support. Is there support here? But these levels here, there's not a whole lot of support because it hit that 694 and boom, just kept going past its last high. And that's not to say it won't hold. It's just knowing, oh, I'm also on the 4 hour. Never mind. I'm tripping. I'm on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, I can't say that. But really, I just wanted to show you support and resistance real quick. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and do the same thing right here. Let me delete these because I was just, oh, actually, let me see. So this is I drew earlier today, and yeah, it broke out a little bit, but not really. Honestly, this was a chop fest. I don't have anything to say about what is or isn't going to happen. I don't know. But right here, boom, first thing I'm gonna see is these 2 bars. This is a level in my head already because I see 3 bars that hit it. And then there's a fourth, and here's a fifth. It kind of splits it. This one almost crossed it. To me, that's a level. Some people will go all the way to the tip of the candle. Some people only like the bodies. I prefer to touch the body, especially how this is like the beginning. So how this is the top of the candle and this is the bottom of a candle, this is a beautiful support and resistance to me because it's literally breaking that line and then retesting it nicely and popping right back off of it, right? And so honestly, with this being 707, this being 711, I would only do maybe 1 or 2 more lines of support and resistance at this moment. Because right now, I'd just be looking to see the cleanest direction and not the exact price point because I'm not in it. So I'd be trying to find a good entry point. And so I would wait until I saw something that made me want to put lines this close together. So I was more exact. Because right now, I'm just looking for what has been happening. And I don't think for me personally, 711 to 709 with the SPY is kind of a big difference. But from 709 to 708, 707, like, nah, I wouldn't have a whole bunch of different lines, especially not on the hour. On the hour is not necessary. It's just to get an idea of where you could go and where you've been before. And then another thing, I have the after hours on. Some people would get rid of those too when doing their levels for during the day trading or intraday trading. Oh, 30-minute. And really, if you could see a level right here, I would honestly just hit it. Some people would tell you to be more zoomed in or zoomed out. I'm like, as soon as I see multiple points, I sometimes think it's easier when it's closer together to at least get roughly in the area and then zoom in and then adjust. And even with that, it's like boom, boom, boom. I would adjust this either up a tad, but I like to play it safe. I'm gonna go down. I'd rather be safer and bet on a lower price than a higher price. But yeah, boom, touched that candle, broke that one in half, sat on it, barely crossed it, sat on it. And I was just looking at these up here, but If your level is right, you'll be able to tell by looking forward and back because the line is going to be touching multiple candles. Boom, that's a level. One candle, two candle, three candle, four candle, five candle, six candles. Oh, this is the 30-minute. I honestly, when I see this, I'm not looking across all of them like that. Was really looking here. My eyes started here and I got to there. I didn't even look down here, but I got here and then I saw there. I'm like, that's a level. I drew it and then I looked to confirm. Boom, that hit it twice. That hit it twice. This hit it two, three times. This hit it four times. I It's really way more simple than it seems. It's just making sure you're not just looking at one collection of candles. A boom, twice, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11, 12. You feel me? It's like it's pretty clean. They usually be pretty clean. If you're having a hard time seeing if three or four candles hit the same line, that would mean the chart is just going crazy. Or you're trying to draw too many lines. Like if I wanted to draw a level here and then draw a level here and then wasn't sure if I would put one there, like let's just do that. And it's not even that you're necessarily wrong, it's just too much going on. And the difference between the price points have to matter. Like if you're only drawing 10 cent, 20-cent increments, depending on the ticker, it's not really that relevant unless you're only looking for a 10-cent move, a 50-cent move. And for me, I'm trading options. So it's like a 50-cent move don't move me too much. Give me a whole dollar, let's go. But yeah, I wouldn't trade like this. I would not trade with this many lines on really. I mean, like I could, it doesn't bother me that much because I know not to look at them. But at a certain point, it just becomes distraction and over speculation. Where it's like, all right, if I'm going from here to here, I, I don't know. I guess it's to each his own. You know, this isn't ridiculously too much, but it's way more lines than I prefer to have on. I'm not trading a chart like that. I'll show you. So this is what my 30-minute looks like on the SPX. Not a whole lot going on. This is the hour. All of this was these three lines were drawn today. It was like so we opened up around here. I drew this at about 11, so about an hour ago. I drew this as the support and resistance line. And actually, I'm lying. I probably drew this here. I probably drew it with these four candles and said, boom, these three. And then this broke it, broke it. So this is our new support. And actually, I could even come up here, which is what I know from the minute. From looking at the minute, I could actually see for a minute today, 7174 was a good resistance point. And right here, 7171. And then prior to that, we were looking at 7166. And so when I come back to the hour, I know that between 713 and 753, that 7161, 7171 were all ranges to be aware of. And it also hasn't proven that above this line is going to last more than this 2 hours that has been there. As you can see, I don't really trade Tesla. Yeah, I haven't been in Tesla since it was $400. Yeah, all right, bet. Yeah, see, I haven't been in Tesla since it was 4 or 500. And actually, no, that's the beginning of this year. But you see, and it just continued. And that's probably when I stopped paying attention. After that, I tapped out. And before that, it was above this line. And so, even with that being said, I haven't been in Tesla since it was about 498, right? Let's see if some of my past levels still mattered. So this line right here, 405, was still relevant-ish. This level right here was still hitting beautifully, 390, 378. We got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. And so all of these levels you see here that are being tapped, I drew out 6 months ago. Not saying I was right in making a prediction. It's just saying that that level was respected, and that by me having known that, I could have been prepared for how big of a rise or fall was going to be happening next, because I could see, oh, we hit 424. I know that these 3, 4 times it hit 424, it couldn't get past it. So when it hits 424, I'm not going to expect it to go straight up. I'm going to expect it to come back down a little, but I'm not going to expect it to go below 405. And if it does, it might go to 390. So I can prepare myself mentally for how big of a move could be happening. And then once I have these levels, I'm going to be paying attention to the other things. How many people are in it? What's the value, the RSI? But before that, it don't even matter, because a million people can get in a trade and the option contract can be set to go to $10, $50 more than the price the stock is at. If the stock has never been to that level before, for you to expect it might not be smart. Or if every time it's hit that level in the past, it's rejected and it's hit that level 5 times, you're going to need a bigger catalyst than just that option being crazily bought right now. And it just gives you something else to trade on outside of, ooh, what is the value? Ooh, what's the VWAP? Ooh, what's the RSI? It's like you take all of that and then you look at what it's already showed it's going to do at that price point, and you incorporate it all. You feel me? It's like if I see this is the level 404, right? And then I see that the value is looking like this, and it's on a green day or it's already been moving green. I know that even though this look a little red, 404. If we hit 404, we gonna break and skyrocket. And once we do, so right here, we boom, we hit 404 and fell below. And then now it hit 404 and then it boom, it broke that bitch right there. But everybody also knew that last time it fell. So once it hit 404, everybody took their motherfucking bread and ran. And that's why I was able to fall back to 390, because they knew last time it hit 404, it was red. I don't want that to happen. So this time I'm gonna take my money, right? But at the same time, people know that 390, it just went right back up to 404. So I'm gonna start putting my money back in here, and hopefully it's gonna turn around. You feel me? And not just hopefully, that's when you look at the RSI, you look at the volume, you look at the value of the data, I mean the value of the company. And if the company is a good company, it has a reason to be invested in, best believe it's going to go right back to the price it was already at one point. So like with Tesla, I don't think anyone has like any 100% belief. I guess this is not a 100% game, but most people have a strong conviction that Tesla's not about to stay below 400 for very long. And it's probably going to go back to 500 at another point during this year. So I don't know. Just use all of the knowledge you have at your fingertips to come to a good conclusion. And my conclusion is no, I'm not going to buy Tesla options for $500. I'm not going to buy Tesla options for $450. I'm not even going to be buying a $430 option on Tesla right now. If I was going to buy Tesla, I'd be buying it in the $420 range max. And that's after it hits this 390 line. Because once it hits 390, we know that it can do 410. And if Tesla is going to do a green day, is going to do a green day, bro. So that $10 jump from 410 to 420 is nothing. But first, I want to recover to 390. And if I can see green and momentum at 390, I have no problem buying a 410 call. And if it hits 410, nigga, we going to 420 soon. But I can look at these lines here and see we've already been here before. And it made the gap from 405 to 420. So if it hits 405 or 410, nigga, 420 is in question. And then also with buying cheaper contracts is like, all right, so the stock is at 379, right? And say I know it could hit 390 and it's on a green day, but that 390 contract is more expensive than I want. I'm gonna buy the $400 contract, but as it just goes up, before it even hits 390, I'm just gonna sell out for a win. I only need $30, $50, $100. I'm not looking for the whole 10-point spread. I'm just looking to be right and take a percentage. Nice and easy. And I'm not going to try and get in at 379 or 380 or 385. No, I'm because I know if it hits 390, this bitch can go to 400 or 410. So anywhere between 380 and 410 is fine with me, bro. As long as don't lose what I'm putting in and make at least 30%. You feel me? If I put $100 in and I make 30%, that's $30, right? If I put $300 in and I make 30%, that's $100. I I don't know. And if you want to go for more than that, you can go 50%. Put $300 in, go 50%. You made 150 in one day doing nothing from a screen. And it's like 150 is light, but if you do that 155 times a week, that's 750 plus every week. You're making almost $3,000 a month by pushing buttons and watching, you feel me, lines on the screen. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. And once you start to see, oh, it's just going to redo what it already did. So right here, it hit this 390 line, it fell to 404, it fell a little underneath and went to 358. After that, it came back up, went to went to the 376, and then it broke a little, came back down, sat on the 376, came up to the 392, came back down, hit that line again, fell below, went to the 360, but like literally is hitting the same line. This line, boom, fell, came up, hit that line again, fell, boom, hit this line, came up, boom, hit that line, came down, boom, came back up. No, it didn't. Kept going. Came back up. Oh, snap. It broke straight through. Boom. It hit the last line that it was already hitting before. And at first, it came almost to it, didn't hold completely. Then it broke above it. And what it do? Came right back down. And then boom, boom, hit it again. Boom. And so now it's fighting to show that this is true resistance and support. And it hit resistance again. Boom. So this time, once it comes above this, we know that this is a true support line because it hit it a couple of times, but it has to hit and stay above. Every time it's hit it so far, it's fallen back below, at least recently. Again, this is a company that's been over $500 before, but I'm looking at this on a 4 hour. And so this is giving me a couple of I guess it's just from last month. But y'all get what I'm saying. Adjust what I'm saying to match the time frame you're looking at. So this is all within hours. If we look at the minute chart, same thing. It's just this happened over the course of minutes. And some people prefer to use the minute chart for charting because you have more data points and more entries to go off of. So when you get clean lines like that, it's just more accurate. But also when you look at bigger time frames like this, it's less distraction, so you can see clearly where the levels were. I say you do both. I like to use the minute to see real time what's going on and be able to make a decision on what I think is going to happen that day because of what's going on at that point in time. And I like to make my decisions off of the 15 and the 30 of what I'm about to get into and why. And then, in order to make me feel confident after I'm already in stuff, like say I'm in a trade and I'm trying to double check what I'm thinking, I'm going to go look at the hour or the 4 hour. And that right there just helps me get a bigger picture because there's been times where it's like looking at the 4 hour chart is like, say I had a put, right? Actually, that's kind of bad with this. Let's do the hour. Let me do something I'd actually play. I don't know Tesla enough to say this is what I would do without actually being in the middle of having to do it. So yeah, with this one right here, none of that happened yet. Pretend none of that happened. Oh, we looking at right here. And I'm like, all right, bet. So I'm here. Say I'm in it right here. And I'm expecting it to go above this line. And so I bought here when it started to break, right? Actually, I wouldn't do that shit. No, I will wait until it got here. Yeah. All right. And then say I bought a call. I buy a call when it gets here. This is also kind of bad. As if this was happening in real time today. So and I can't say for tomorrow because I fucking know now. I'm just trying to come up with the best way to explain how looking at these would help me. So if I'm looking at this tomorrow and I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen in the next hour, it's like, all right, looking here, we had one, two, three. This is a doji, right? This doji is red, but this doji is going to make its decision for this hour today, right? If I'm looking at the last 4 hours were all green. I'm going to assume this hour is going to be green too. It's like, is that a safe assumption? Not necessarily, because we have these two reds, but this is the whole course of the day, right? Where did this start at? Right here. So the day starts right here, and it started off green, and then it went red, and then it went green, and then it went green, and then it went green, and then it went green. And so I'm going to assume that right here is probably going to stay green, even though it's a doji. And so if I was in this trade and I was scared that I was about to go red, I would come look at the 4 hour. I mean, I'll come look at the 1 hour and be like, for the last 4 hours, it's been green. So I'm going to assume this hour is going to be green. But say I was on the 5 minute and I'm looking here and I'm like, oh, we got three red candles. Oh, it couldn't decide. And now it looks like it's falling. And I know that 7171 is a strong resistance and support level. What if it breaks down to that 7171? I'm not going to get scared and jump out because this one is falling too. I'm going to wait. I'm going to draw a new line, 7171, and then I'm going to wait and see if we hit that. And if we hit that, I'm out this hoe. But before then, I'm going to go off of the 1 hour and remind myself that for the last 4 hours, it's closed green. So, yes, looking at the 5 minute might make me a little nervous. But if I look further on in the chart, it gives me more confidence that I'm already where I should be. And that's why we look at the previous levels to help us determine where a smart play zone is at. And see, I said 7170. That's because on the minute chart, we have all this proof that between here is a good place for it to bounce at. All day it was bouncing between there. So even though it broke above, I'm not going to be too surprised if it falls down to 7171. But even then, after 7171, it might just bounce right back up here. And that's just showing consolidation. It's a confirmation that what happened was supposed to happen and is supported and respected. Yesterday did have a decent little breakout, but I guess SPX always has a little breakout. It's like $15 to SPX is nothing. I've seen this stock move $100 in 30 minutes and then recover that shit. right, I'm out of here.